Welcome, everyone. My name is Kate Johnson, and I'm the Innis College Librarian, and I am here with my colleague, Cynthia Messenger, who is the director of the Writing Center, and we'll be going over different supports that are available to you. You can see on the website or on the screen that I've listed our websites for our different spaces. So the Innis College, because you're entering these big systems, we have our own kind of little community in it. And I'm going to be speaking first, and then Cynthia. If you have any questions, I can view the chat, and we're happy to address that as well. This is being recorded, and we will make the slides available within the Innis 101 Quercus as well as a PDF. All right, so Cynthia, I'll get started, and then I will let you know when you're starting. Okay, so Innis College, as I mentioned, has its own library. It's a small, quirky space that I hope you get to come to. Our collections are focused on cinema studies and writing and rhetoric, which means academic writing, creative writing, business writing. So it's a study space that's available to you. And also I, as the Innis College Librarian, am available to help answer questions. We also have an Instagram and Facebook, and also whatever Twitter is called now, at Innis College Lib, L-I-B. So you're welcome to also follow us in these spaces. So when you're dealing with U of T, you actually have over 40 libraries that you can access. Some will have specialized collections tied to subject areas and technologies, or kinds of study spaces. So in Innis College, what we kind of focus on is that you can connect and capitalize on me as your personal librarian. I've worked everywhere in the system. I have been a librarian for engineering, dentistry, African studies, Caribbean studies, women and gender, Buddhism and mental health, across the board. So if I don't have the right answer, fortunately, we have hundreds of librarians that you can also be able to connect to. So I'm going to highlight to you how you can connect with me, and also how you can connect with the greater U of T libraries system. And I act as kind of a bridge for that. So you'll be getting regular emails from me through the personal librarian program. I also contribute information to the newsletters from the registrar and Student Life. You can always book a meeting with me as well, either online or in person at the library. And what happens in kind of a research consult or one of these kinds of talks is we can go over demos, we can strategize on the searching that you need to do, or you can email me, simpler questions of, I can't find this, or how might I access this? Because I'm a solo librarian, I'm not always available, so I'm also going to highlight U of T library resources. But as I mentioned, we have a delightfully quirky space. So not only is the library home to collections, but we also are the location where the Innis College Computer Lab is based, and those computers are tied to the Innis College printer, which is down the hallway on the second floor of we're in 2 Sussex Avenue. So we're just above the registrar's office. And our printing is 4 cents per page, which is subsidized by Innis College Council and the college itself, because they wanted to designate priorities for that. For information about the printing and how that all works, there are different pages on the Innis College website. Both the Innis 101 have links to it, and also you can link from our own website section. In accessing resources, what's important to remember is that there's lots of different things that you can take advantage of. But what I want to highlight in particular is how can you take advantage of U of T and connect with the different resources. So one of the most important things to know is that if you're doing an online search, and I'm really great at Google, I love Google, so I can always help with that as well. But if you are not logged in through either the library's website or the internet on campus, the internet doesn't know you're a U of T student, that you've paid to have access to hundreds and millions of digital physical resources. And what you might find online will sometimes give you a message that for $35, you could pay to access an ebook or an article. I want you to stop, go to the library's main website, try doing the search there. And if you're not sure, get in touch by using the Ask Chat button to get help. The reason for this is that they won't prompt you to enter your UTOR ID when you're searching through just the general web. And that UTOR ID is your passport in order to access many different resources available through U of T. And if you're on a website and it says select from your institutions, we don't appear on those pages. So it's really important to go to the U of T library website. We also have access to a huge range of types of resources. It's not just books or just scholarly articles. There's also popular fiction. There is music, video. There are audio files, a huge range of different things that you can take advantage of. And I mentioned before about using something called Ask. So we have Ask a Librarian, which is a chat service on our website for U of T libraries, and it's also its own separate page. This allows you to connect virtually with library staff from across Ontario, and they can answer questions about access, help you with research questions, and so they can offer the just-in-time help. So I mentioned before, your T-card is your passport to everything. You also end up using your T-card. It is your library card, so you check things in and out. We also have not just physical books and other materials, we also have technology loans through U of T libraries that can be borrowed. Innis College has 2 light therapy lamps that we have through Innis Student Life, and those can be borrowed from our library as well. The other element of your T-card is that's also what you use to print or copy materials. So you load money on your T-card with T-card Plus, and this also means you can buy food and with that card on certain places, at certain places on campus. The other importance about bringing your T-card to campus is that there are certain libraries that will only allow entry if you have your T-card or some form of proof. So if you haven't gotten your T-card yet, just go and ask at the desk. But Robarts and Gerstein, which are 2 of our larger libraries, require that. Some of you may be wondering about course readings and course reserves. Some of your readings may be online. Increasingly, we have a lot of materials that are available, either that you click through a link and you connect to the library interface to ebooks or articles, or they may be scanned chapters that library staff have prepared or faculty have prepared. If in your Quercus space, so Quercus is the learning management system that we often for our courses have different access our materials and your course assignments, and you may even have learning activities. There's often a library list, or your instructor will let you know where your digitized materials are. In some cases with textbooks, those are not always readily available at the libraries due to a various level of reasons, because of publishers or because of the frequency. Typically, materials that we have that are on course reserve are shorter term loans for 3 hours. You can look in the library system, see if it's there. The other option sometimes is also borrowing from Toronto Public Library. And all of you as U of T students, because you're going to school in Toronto, even if you are not living in Toronto, you can get a Toronto Public Library card. As I mentioned, there are over 40 libraries. That means lots of different kinds of places to study, and we have 3 campuses as well. What this means is that you can choose based on different atmospheres, environments, the type of work you need to do, if you need to be with a group, if you need certain technology. So if you have questions about that, I'm happy to answer those. or there's also many different sources that you can, ask people what their favorite libraries are. You'll get a lot of different examples. You can see here we have the Gerstein Reading Room. I will tell you, do not be loud, do not talk. People will, stare at you until you're silent. There are some libraries that have group study rooms. Innis College is not one of those as of yet, but with the new build, we'll be getting a few. And then you can see at the far end, that's one of the views of our multi-layered Innis College library. The group study rooms, some can be booked in advance, so you can explore that list as well. With developing research skills, not all of you will necessarily be accessing research skill, diving into that right away, but this is also about navigating information that could be used for your own leisure time, whether it's popular books or films, and also just, you have access to an amazing range of resources. So as I mentioned before, we have the U of T Libraries website, and that is a great starting place. We have right underneath it, you can see different kinds of helps, research guides, the library search tips and FAQ can be a really great place to start as well. This search interface allows you to connect with our main catalog. And the reason that I highlight this versus Google is that we have so many filters, ways that you can narrow down by the type of resource, by subject areas, whereas Google, and even Google Scholar, you can only narrow it down by date. So it won't guarantee that the material is necessarily available online, that you'll have access to it, and those kinds of things. We have lots of different library workshops or skills if you're interested in 3D printing, data visualization, and one I in particular like to highlight is the U of T library research skills. You can actually get a credit through that could appear on your transcripts, a CCR a co-curricular record, and showcase that you've got foundational library skills. For any of you who are maybe thinking that you want to get a research position with your department or later on in projects, this can be a good place to start to be able to show that you understand how the system works. As I mentioned before, you can also connect with us directly. And not only am I available tied to your searching, but also how do you cite. And so this isn't so much the writing side, which I'll defer to Cynthia about. This is more tied to the formatting, what tools are available, how can you organize and coordinate your information more effectively, keep track of it, and also finding citation tools that can help you with the formatting and for your bibliography and your in-text citations. So any of you who are using EasyBib or those kinds of tools, what I would likely show to case to you is kind of the next level, which is a citation manager, which is amazing. As I mentioned before, I pointed out on the page, there's research guides. So we have collections that are based on either created for your actual course. So it's something that's been crafted by a librarian in collaboration with your instructor in order to make the research tied to your assignments. And then we have more general subject guides. So if you have a particular topic that you're interested, whether it be Indigenous studies, medical research, anything like that, we have lots of different materials that you could draw upon. And as I mentioned, citing is another area that we support. So when in doubt, cite it. The key factor to always remember when you're dealing with citations is not only is it to recognize other people's scholarship and work that they've done and their ideas, but that also by acknowledging their content that you've included and summarized and taken a look at, it allows your opinions and your arguments to stand out more thoroughly. There are lots of different areas of support and workshops and different online tools that can help you with this. So you have lots of different forms of support to draw upon. And if you have any questions, just remember to ask. I can act as a bit of a bridge. I might not have the right answer, but I can maybe connect you with other people. And I am going to, in this exact moment, point you to the next best person to give you information, which will be Cynthia.
Thank you so much, Kate. Welcome everyone to our session. I'm the director of the Writing Center, as Kate mentioned, and I also teach in the Writing and Rhetoric program. So first slide, the Writing Center offers free one-on-one instruction. You don't pay tuition for this teaching. It's very valuable teaching. It's confidential teaching. We don't report to your professors or anything of the kind. So that's, I think, important to bear in mind. We offer two different kinds of appointments, in person and online. Some students prefer to see the instructor face-to-face, and others, for the sake of convenience, or if they've got a cold and they want to stay home, prefer online appointments. So we offer both types, and it's very easy to see which kind of appointment you want when you go to the booking screen in our booking system. For in-person appointments, we are currently located in one room, room 315 in the East Wing of Innis College. That's the one room for in-person appointments. And that link that Kate has provided on the slide is the link you would use to book appointments in the Writing Center. You can simply Google the Innis College homepage and go to the Writing Center, and then it'll be very obvious a button to click on to book appointments. Next slide, please, Kate. Thank you. So this is what I've just been talking about, booking appointments. That's the title of the link, book an appointment link, and very easy to use, but I will urge you to use Chrome rather than Safari. We have had inexplicable ongoing problems reported to us from students who have tried to book through Safari. So please try Chrome. We've had best luck with that search engine. So do book in advance. The Writing Center tends to get very busy, particularly in the fall, October, November, and then in the winter term starts to get busy. February and March is an extremely busy month. You may have, if you're a student, and I think everyone here today is, you may have one appointment per week during the September to April academic session. In the summer, the rules are a bit different. You can have more than one per week if you're taking a summer course, but September to April, one appointment per week, but you may book in advance, and you may book up to 3 appointments in advance. And many students do. They know their schedules, they know when their assignments are due, and they plan ahead and they book these 3 appointments. And we don't mind that. As long as you do cancel or change your appointments with lots of notice. And so we ask for at least 24 hours notice. If you, next slide, please, Kate. So if you do cancel late or you fail to show up, you'll incur penalties. And once you hit a penalty limit, your privileges will be suspended. So you don't want to be in that situation. If, however, your privileges are suspended, simply email me, cynthia.messenger@utoronto.ca, ask that you be reinstated, and I will do so right away. So eligible coursework. You may use the Innis Writing Center for all of your coursework if you are an Innis College student. And again, I think that applies to everyone today. And eligible coursework includes assignments in the first year programs. So don't forget that. If you're not an Innis College student but are taking courses offered by the programs, then you may bring in work from those specific courses. And I've noted the eligible course codes, and that's for you to tell your colleagues who aren't as lucky as you and aren't Innis College students. Next slide, please, Kate. So assignment sheets and rough drafts. The appointments are 50 minutes long. They begin at 10 minutes past the hour. Sometimes keen students show up at the door. If the appointment is at 1:10, they show up at 1, they start knocking. But the appointment does not start till 10 minutes after the hour. You can make an appointment at any stage in the planning process or any stage in the writing process, even if you've not written a single word. If you want to come in and discuss the assignment with the instructor, please feel free to do so. Many students do that. they make an appointment to discuss the assignment, and then they make another appointment once they have a partial draft or a full draft of the essay written. So please know that you can do that. It is essential, however, that you show the writing instructor the assignment sheet. We find very often that students have misunderstood the assignment sheet. They're not doing the quite the right thing, but the instructor in the Writing Center cannot know that unless they see the assignment sheet. So please bring it in. And these assignment sheets can be long. They're getting longer every year. They can be complex. They're full of information. Sometimes they're full of jargon. The instructor can help you read that assignment sheet and understand what's wanted. So please remember that. And be sure to seek advice well before the due date for the assignment. I think that's sort of obvious. But if you are to improve it, the Writing Center is a teaching service. We teach, and we teach students to improve their writing. The students need the time, enough time before the piece is due in order really to improve. I'm just noting here, we're not an editing service, so it's not the goal of the writing instructor to fix every grammar error and to edit the whole paper. That's simply not what we do. We're a teaching service. So the one-on-one instruction is meant to teach students how they might strengthen their own writing. And I want to emphasize that students come to the Writing Center from across the disciplines: life sciences, English department, commerce program, you name it, cinema studies, writing and rhetoric, urban studies, of course, but right across the disciplines. So don't feel, oh, I'm doing a science report and they teach the essay. No. We look at lots of science reports, and increasingly we're looking at assignments that are not the conventional essay. So if you're asked to do a podcast, come in and brainstorm on the organization and the language you might use in that podcast. Really don't feel confined to the academic essay. Professors are assigning all kinds of other work, I am finding, and I do in my own courses. Next slide, please, Kate. So what do we cover? Well, our pedagogy is student-centered. So the first thing the writing instructor asks the student is, what do you want to focus on? So we're very much guided by what the student wants to look at. And some students, particularly senior, more experienced students, have a very clear idea of where their weaknesses lie in the assignment, and they want to focus there. So the instructor will do that. But for an academic essay, typically instructors will look at organization, clarity, the thesis statement, how paragraphs are formed, how ideas are developed, and then they will look at sentence level composition. So grammar and phrasing style, those three things sort of come last. We go from, I would say, macro to micro, broad to narrow. And then if it's a lab report, a different set of concerns will be in play, as I've mentioned, but those kinds of reports are more than welcome in the Writing Center. Next slide, please, Kate. So first available appointments, the fall schedule is not up. We're still actually working with the summer schedule. We have a week or so to finish in August. So the new schedule will be up in early September, and we'll actually start appointments around the third week. This all depends on availability of the instructors, and I'm having conversations with them in the coming days and finalizing their contracts. But generally, we open in the third week in September. We find we're just not busy before then. And the last available appointments for the fall term are generally around December 6 or 7. I do allow for some flexibility. Sometimes instructors will give, substantial extensions. And if that occurs and student need is there, then I can ask instructors to teach a little bit longer. I will say this, first-year students are encouraged to come in early, usually in the month of September, with something they've written in high school. And we're happy to talk to you about it explain the differences between what was expected in high school and what might be expected in university assignments. So feel free to book an appointment, particularly September, October, with a high school assignment. That's perfectly acceptable, and we invite you to do it. Next slide, please, Kate. So in addition to this one-on-one instruction, which I emphasize is free, no tuition, no extra charge levied against you, we also offer writing workshops for free. And when I say we, I'm talking about a really wonderful collaboration involving Faculty of Arts and Science Writing Centers, U of T libraries, librarians, career exploration, education, English language learning, and academic success. So these are a number of units and centers that have come together to offer this series of workshops. And it's just self-enrolling through Quercus. Note the following. Last year, all of our sessions were on Zoom, not this year. Saturday morning sessions are through Zoom. We felt that would be more convenient for students, but the Tuesday afternoon sessions are in person. So that little S on Tuesdays, I'll have to remove that. So in person on Tuesdays, but through Zoom on Saturdays. Please check out Writing Plus and attend these workshops. They cover a whole range of topics. Next paragraph, please, Kate. Thank you. And here are some of them. Understanding the assignment, finding scholarly sources, developing your thesis, organizing your essay, using sources, revising your essay, essential skills, note-taking, etc., practical grammar, exam prep, admissions letters, and personal statements. Next slide, please. Thank you. And here, I think this is my final slide. Is that right, Kate? Yes. I'm just offering you a couple of dates for the first 3 workshops in the Writing Plus series. And the first 3 are under the Essential Skills heading. All 3 are on Saturday, September the 9th. All are 1 hour long, and survival skills starts at 9:30. And then critical reading and thinking. These are actually, I think, slightly shorter sessions. I think these are 45 minutes. Critical thinking and reading 10:45, and then note-taking at noon. So just wanted to be concrete with you so you could see exactly what is coming up. And please do think about visiting the link and attending these workshops. Thank you, Kate, and thank you, everyone. And I hope you have a wonderful year. If you have any questions at all, please email me, cynthia.messenger@utoronto.ca. I'm around all summer. Thanks.
The joys of Zoom. We also have time now for any questions. There's so much content and different forms of support. So always keep in mind that we realize that, you know, you may forget, you may not be sure. So there are lots of different places that you can always go and ask for support. Or all of us are at Innis and at U of T are very invested on you being able to connect with help and community to be able to take advantage of being tied and involved with an institution that has a lot to offer. But it also means a lot to navigate. So, you know, maybe set reminders for yourself of that some of these things are great at the beginning of term. Some may be when you're in the midst, but there's lots of support to be had. And be nice. Our writing centers are so much in demand that if you do sign up and you're super smart to do so early, be kind. And if you feel that you're not ready to have the appointment, then cancel it with enough time for other people to be able to take advantage of it. But also always keep in mind, even if you have part of it done, working on that part and what your arguments are how the Writing Center can also support you, because it is pretty, I mean, I would go to it all the time if I could.
Kate, I'd also add that if you find that the day you want to book an appointment is full, put yourself on the waiting list. And that's really important. And put yourself on the waiting list for more than one day. If an appointment becomes available, then everyone on the waiting list is emailed at the same moment the booking
Yeah.
system generates everyone at once. So then you have to be really quick and grab the appointment if you are lucky enough to be offered one. But please, many of our students get appointments through the waiting list very successfully. And senior students know to use it, and they use it very well. And the system seems to work well for everyone.
And this will also draw upon a certain point to keep in mind. I know that sometimes people maybe aren't on top of checking their emails, their U of T emails. But what I will say is that most of our systems, things you have to register for, you cannot use things like Gmail or other services. You need to use your U of T email because that allows us to see that you're U of T students, and our messages will only get sent to those accounts. Some people set it up to forward. It doesn't always work. So just be very careful. And it's what we'll post is that there are ways to be able to organize your email so it's a little less daunting. Oh, I see a question. Yeah, feel free. Unmute. Oh, I think, oh no. Yeah, Emma or Emmanuel?
Hello. Yes,
Hi.
it's Emmanuel. Hello. I don't
Hi.
know if you can see me. It's a bit dark.
Totally
Hello.
valid.
I was wondering if you could give some more information about the personal librarian program you mentioned before.
Mhm.
I saw it because I'm not quite sure what it is about and how it works. So if you could
Yeah.
just.
I am happy to. So the personal librarian is all Innis College students get linked up with me via email. And I'll send out kind of regular updates, just in time kind of information to remind you of things, of different resources that we have, events that would be coming up. Also, then you have me as an email. So especially when you're getting started and if you're not sure, I can be a point person, just like how the registrar also acts as a point person when you're not sure, of a first email of being like, I'm taking computer labs and I have the bio 120 assignment. I'm not the biology librarian, so it's not the subject area I usually support, but there are certain things that I can help with, and I can also direct you to the wide array of different people or the research guides that are available. So if you have questions like that or access questions, the thing to keep in mind is if it's last minute in nature, that can sometimes be a bit more difficult for me to turn around. So taking advantage of something like the Ask Chat service is really great. But yeah, you can send me lots of questions. I love questions. And it also means you're also welcome to book appointments with me. And if I feel that it's something that it might be better suited for the librarian in that subject area, like say you're looking at maps and like we have a whole library for that. Like we have a map and data library. Robarts Library actually has 5 libraries within it. The East Asian Hong Kong Slavic Library, the Fisher Library, the map and data library, and I feel like there's one else that I'm missing.
So just to have it right, for every subject-specific librarian, is it a different location on campus? So they're in different libraries?
It depends. So we have over 40 libraries, and some also who have what we would maybe call functional, and they may not be tied to a physical library, but to the overall library system. So we have an entrepreneurship librarian who works with engineering students, with business students, with various types, and she rotates. And then on different campuses, there are different librarians who help in those subject areas. If you know, or what kinds of things are you interested in? Just out of curiosity.
Economics and geography mostly. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like if you want to look at data, if you want to look at interviews, if you are looking for films and documentaries, if you are looking for government documents, which have improved in searching, but it's a lot to go, legal documents, all of this, we have effectively librarians who help with that. But also we have different research guides that can help you kind of develop those skills and either in navigating them, in accessing them, or in citing them.
Great, thank you very much.
Any other questions? Yeah, the other thing is I love sharing information, so you can always tell me to stop because I get very enthusiastic of all the things we could connect you with. Because there's like digital tools, software, all that. Mhm.
I was also wondering if in the Innis library itself, there were also some fiction books along the scholarly resources, or if the fiction books are somewhere else in another library or location.
Excellent question. So our fiction is mainly tied to the writing and rhetoric assignments or fiction that has been adapted into films. So, but Robarts across the street, literally from us, has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. We also have certain libraries that have specialized collections. The University College has something called their bestsellers collection, and it rotates all the time. And it's always the top, I think, 25 bestsellers are always available and borrowable through that. The other component is that we have a wide range of resources that are available digitally. And our U of T Scarborough campus has just launched for audiobooks. So that's a new program. And as I mentioned before, Toronto Public Library is also a resource that we have. And within our library system and even Toronto Public, you can request things to be transferred to different locations. So if there's something at UTM or UTSC that's a physical item, you could get that transferred and sent to a place for pickup that's more convenient for you. The digital content you access while online, and there's certain interfaces that you go through. Some can be downloaded, some have to be read online. And then also with, I would say, the Toronto Public Library, the range of audiobooks, digital magazines, they have access to things we don't have access to because the publishing industry is very, very fun. So depending what your areas of interest are, we also have graphic novel collections, science fiction. So depending what your interests are, send me an email and I will send you far too big of a list. The other thing you get to take advantage of are different events that take place. I know that the Fisher Library is going to have, which is our rare special books library, has an exhibit that's going to be coming up, which is toy theater sets. And it's going to be a display and they're going to have events and all of these different kinds of things. So there's lots of interesting things that happen throughout the year. And also at Innis College, you're very lucky because we also have the Cinema Studies Institute. So every Friday we have free Friday films during the school year.
Great, thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, you've all done a lovely job listening to us. I will be sticking around until 3 if anyone has questions. As Cynthia said, we are available. The slides for this presentation, which are hyperlinked, are available in the Innis 101. So I'm just going to grab that URL and it can take you to that page, which maybe I closed. Or what I'm going to do is I will upload this document right now. So if anyone is interested, so it's just downloading. It should be in the chat. It's a PDF hyperlinked version of the slides, and so you can take advantage, but be in touch. Let us know if you have questions. And for any of you, are any of you going to be new to Toronto?
I will be.
So I grew up in Toronto.
I will be too.
Okay, I'm gonna give you this. Yeah, excellent. Even this BlogTO is one of my favorite websites, but something I find really useful is they have something called a neighborhood map. And I'm going to put it in for you so you can see. And what is great about this is that, like most cities, we have different neighborhoods that have different names, which are very confusing. And it allows you to click on a neighborhood. So if you're interested in things close to U of T campus, there's one for U of T. There's another called the Annex, which would be close by. And you can see restaurants, stores, services, a variety of things, and you can get started for looking for that. And please come by to the library. We're open Monday to Friday, starting September 7th, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. I'm not always here. So again, if you want to guarantee time to chat, we can always book a meeting.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Kate.